Okay, here we go. Fifth video. Disclaimer is still the same, not all inclusive, etc., etc. Okay, use the sum and difference formulas. Here I'm getting the angles in radians. So sine is equal to sine, cosine, cosine, sine, right? Is that right? Sine plus is sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Yep, I got it. And then sine matches. So just put the angles where they belong, pi and pi over 4, pi and pi over 4. So what's the sine of pi? What is the sine of pi? Pi is right there. What's the sine? 0. That's interesting. So that's going to make this one both go away because I don't even care what that is when it's multiplied by 0. I'm just left with cosine of pi, -1, times the sine of pi over 4. Isn't the sine of pi over 4 right there? Rad 2 over 2. Okay, and so the answer, isn't that negative rad 2 over 2? And they were real evil to you on this because if you think about this, how many degrees is that? Isn't that 180 plus 45? Isn't it? Is that 180 plus 45? What is that? 225? What's the sine of 225 degrees? Right there. Negative rad 2 over 2. Ugh. Man, don't you hate how they do that to you? Okay, here's one for you guys to practice. I came up with these numbers just off the top of my head. You need to show your work on the test, so you can't just add up the numbers in degrees and look at the unit circle. You have to show your work like this on the test. So cosine subtract is cosine, cosine, sine, sine, and it's changed the sign. So this becomes 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, 3 pi over 2, and 7 pi over 4. Okay, so you guys, again, having memory of the unit circle helps a lot. Cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. Again, that's going to wipe out this whole fraction. Sine of 3 pi over 2 is -1. Sine of 7 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4 is right there. The sine is negative rad 2 over 2, which makes this rad 2 over 2. Let's check that and make sure it makes sense. 3 pi over 2 is 270 minus, what's 7 pi over 4? 315 degrees. 270 minus 315. Negative 45 degrees, which would be right here. And look, there's the sine of, the cosine, of negative 45 degrees is right there. It works. That's it for that video.